Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Didsbury Art Studio and I'm Sally. And in today's video, what I'd like to do is I've bought this charity shop top. It's just like a vest top. I'm not particularly interested in the fabric, but I'm interested in the style of the top. So I decided to recycle it and I'm taking a pattern off it and I'm going to make a smocked top version of it. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, that would be super duper. Also, if you could write a comment, that would be great, and also like the video if you enjoyed it. Let's get straight into the video. So what I'm going to do now is I've got this top here and I said that I was going to unpick it and use it as a template to make another top with, and I will need my unpicker, some scissors. I just need to be really careful and get this unpicked. What I want to do now is I've put together a couple of bits of some paper just to make an enlarged sheet, and then I'm going to use these two pieces, the front and the back of the top that I took apart. So I'm just going to flatten that out as much as I can. There we go. And then I've got the other one over here, the back. Let's lay that out. And then I'm just going to draw around those both. These are the two, the front and the back of the top that I've taken apart, and I've just laid them out on some paper, and I've just used my pencil to do a dotted line right up around all the edges. So it looks like this. There we go. And then I'm just going to join all the dashes together with my pencil. I'm just going to write top, front, and then carry on joining the lines together. Now at the moment this has no seam allowance. I just want to get the accuracy of the overall shape down first. So I'm not going to put any seam allowance extra on this because I'm going to do something else which you'll see in a bit. So that is just the overall size of the front. This stretchy fabric, I've got 51 inches across and 36 inches down, and the pattern that I'm going to do is this leaf pattern, and I'm just going to get the design on. Smocking down, and now I'm just going to put my pattern over the top. Now obviously this is a little bit different because it's 3D. I want to make sure that I draw around it. So obviously let's see how we go with this. So I've gone around it with my water erasable pen. That was quite tricky, very bumpy obviously. You probably won't be able to see it, but I've followed around it. And what I am going to do, I don't know if this is right or wrong, but I feel as if we cut this, then parts of it are going to fall apart. And so what I'm going to do, a sewing stitch around the whole of the pattern to begin with. And I will use the sewing machine for that. Okay, so I'm just going to be following this water erasable pen line here. I'm going to be using a wide zigzag stitch, and as you can see the fabric's very stretchy, so I'm going to have to really hold on to it and guide it and feed it through. Let's give this a whirl. Oh, it doesn't like that. This is really quite tricky to do the sewing side of things. I'm just even going around the edge. I'm just having to sort of push the threads down and also help the sewing machine out at points where the material sort of is layered and quite thick. Finished. So there is actually a zigzag stitch going all the way around there. You might not be able to see, but maybe you might be able to see a little bit more on this side. Let's have a look. So the stitch is going all the way around the sleeves, at the top, around the front, down, and at the bottom. Just need to cut it out now. Okay, so there's the top, the front of it, and then what I need to do next is I've got this polyester cotton fabric because I ran out of the other one, so I need to just cut out the back from here. There we go, just need to cut it out. Front and back, and then I'm just going to get the back and line up the shoulder seams, which we could just do there. Oops, sorry. And over here, and then we're going to want to pin the shoulder seams together. So I'm just going to pop a few pins in right there and there, and the same over here. There we go. Done. Over to the machine. Okay, so this is what we've got. Pinned it, and we're going to be doing 3/8 of an inch seam, and I'm going to be using a zigzag stitch because I've got quite a bit of stretchy fabric there. So and then I'm going to go backwards and then forward, take my pin out, backwards at the end. There we go. Same with the other one. This is what we've got. And then what I also wanted to show you was we're going to be doing some bias binding. We're going to make our own. And this is some fabric which is very similar, stretchy of the front of the top. But obviously you can see it's a different colour, but it's already some fabric I had. So to make the bias binding, which looks like this, I've already made these two here. What you want to do is cut a strip which is 1 3/4 of an inch in width, and then the length of it is actually just the length that I had, 40 inches. 2 of those. So yeah, I've just folded in half of it to the middle and then the other half, and then I just ironed them. So I've got 2 of those. There's the other one done, and then I've just pinned them at the end. They are going to try to curl like that, but that's the best we can do with just popping a pin in just to secure it for now. Bias binding to do the actual collar and the sleeves. It just looks like this at the moment. Go that way. So what we're going to do now is with this armhole here, we're going to get the bias binding and the right side facing the wrong side of the front of your top. And I'm just going to leave a little overhang there. It will help with just sewing and pulling the fabric through because it's really stretchy. So we can just line up the edge, and this is going to go all the way around the right side of my bias binding against the wrong side of the front of my top. I'm going to be using zigzag stitch once again. That's going to help us with this stretchy fabric, and we're going to do 3/8 of an inch from the edge. So it's going to be all about sort of how you're moving the fabric, curving it and stretching it around the edge. Then off we go. I'm just going to do a zigzag and then a back stitch with it. Just lining those raw edges. Okay, and when it comes to this shoulder seam here, we're just going to flatten that down. Check it's flat. And we're just going to carry on around over here. And then I've just got to the end and I'm just going to do a little back stitch. Okay, so now that that's all sewn down, what we're going to do with the other side of the bias binding here, we're going to be folding it. You've got another crease there. You're just going to fold it over the top of that zigzag line there, and then we're actually going to sew over the top of that so it's all nicely covered. And we're going to follow that around all the way to the other side. It's just covering that zigzag stitch there. Just got to stretch the fabric a little bit over the top. And I've very nearly finished. All I need to do now is a back stitch, but I've done all the rest with the zigzag. Okay, so the armholes are done on that side. There we go. Next we need to do the collar. Okay, so I've cut another piece of my homemade bias binding, and I've actually done it a little bit wider because I felt that these were really stretched. So I've done this at 2 inches, and we're going to start on the back. We're going to put the front sides facing the back. So the wrong side of your fabric with the right side of your bias binding. So I'll just undo that and match up the raw edges, and I'm just going to start at the back, go all the way around. So this is what I've done. I've gone to the middle of the back. It's the wrong side facing up, the right side of my bias binding facing down. I've just lined up the raw edges and I'm going to head all the way around. And I'm actually just going to leave a small tail end unsewn and just start around about here, so about 1 inch of unsewn. I'll show you at the end why we do that. And what we need to do now is we've got this little gap here at the back of our top, and we just need to open those two out. So we just need to attach these with a little seam, so I would just make sure that we can get those two lined up here. Not sure if you can actually see this. Hang on. And match up the raw edges like that, and then I'm just going to sew just down here. So that is all done now. I've popped the little seam over there, and if I turn it around, next what we're going to be doing is folding this over all the way around the neckline. I'm just going to fold that over the back. And then we're going to do the zigzag stitch around the back along there again. Okay, so now that all the bias binding is done, all we need to do is just fold over the fabric and match up the seams at the side. So I'm just going to pin these two sides together. Just line those up. We're going to do 3/8 of an inch seam, and just do all the way down the side here, and I've done the same over here. Okay, I've just sewn along the sides there with zigzag stitch again, back stitch and back stitch, and the same over here. So all that's left to do is the hem. So I've just turned the hem over twice and pin, then I'll just sew that with the zigzag stitch, and then I'll also do the front. So I haven't removed the water erasable pen yet, but I have finished the top. There's the hem on the back there, and then I did a zigzag across the front. And obviously the fabric and the weight of the fabric at the front is slightly heavier and rippled because of the smocking, but overall, very happy. Hope you like. I put the top with a bit of a clamp clip at the back because I thought, oh, that's quite nice, just kind of stretched around here. And the skirt is from Primark. I love this skirt. It's kind of got a little bit of shirring at the side on the pockets, nice and flat at the front, a long midi length, and yeah, loving the pockets with it. I've got the Asda shoes on it, and I've got River Island earrings on. Okay then, so I've just tried to put the top with a burgundy pair of trousers that I wear a lot for work. I've just put some sandals with those with a little bit of a heel, because I need a heel for the trousers. And I've had to pin at the back the top a little bit with a clamp clip because I feel like it's a bit baggy, it needs to be a bit tighter, but just to style it and show you how it looks. Just put one of my favourite pairs of earrings with it, these Perspex hoops. Okay, so this time I've put the top with a barrel pair of cream jeans that I got from Marks and Spencer's, Under the Stories sandals, and H&M little necklace. Yep, I've got the top on this time with some more barrel jeans. I'm loving these, I've been wearing them all the time. These are from New Look. Shoes are George by Asda. I think they're about £10. These are a bit of a square toe, love those. Earring, Oliver Bonas. So I hope that you liked seeing how I would style the top that I've made, and hopefully if you enjoyed this video today, I've got a few more planned that I'd like to have a go at, so doing some more pattern cutting and recycling clothes from the charity shops. So I hope you enjoyed my video today, and if you did, just don't forget to give it a like. I'd love to see more of you coming back each week, and I'll see you in the very next video.